Hey, this
Hi.
is say hi, Gigi. Okay, one sec. We got to switch cameras here. And
The executive.
all right, so here we are, Christian Walsh, Coldwell Banker Wire Associates. Yes, we're still in business. I got a few guests here today. This is what happens when you have 4 kids at home. It does make things interesting, but we are still in business. You guys say hi.
Hi.
All right, go ahead, head upstairs.
Bye.
School starts tomorrow, which is good. Go. Oh, thank you. Yes, we need Maisie in here too. Perfect. Okay, this is great. Okay. Oh, sorry, Mace. Okay, so here we go. So we're here to talk about a very important thing, actually. Governor Newsom's executive order related to evictions. A lot of confusion out in the marketplace. So we're here to help explain exactly what's going on. So this was Executive Order N2820. It went into effect on March 16th, and it's specifically related to COVID-19. So it is not a statewide ban on evictions. It's actually an executive order coming down from the governor. Each municipality has to decide if they actually want to enforce the executive order. Now, some have started. Santa Ana, for example, in Orange County, has agreed to enforce the executive order. Costa Mesa is actually voting tonight. So this will continue to change the number of municipalities that choose whether or not to adopt this. It runs through May 31st, 2020, and what it allows is tenants, they still have to pay rent. It doesn't mean tenants don't have to pay rent. What it means is that rent can be there can be a forbearance on rent. So the landlord can elect to take a portion, take no rent, but the tenant will still owe that rent and will still have to pay back any back rent that they haven't paid. One important caveat to this is the tenant must be able to document that COVID-19 has led to a decrease in income or an increase in medical expenses directly related to COVID-19. So that's an important distinction. There has to be something that establishes that COVID-19 has led to a loss of income or an increase in expenses directly related to it. So this is only in the case of evictions related to non-payment of rent. So that's another important point. You can still evict a tenant for other reasons, for example, waste or nuisances. You still have to follow the appropriate timelines and guidance from your attorney. But this only specifically, this executive order specifically applies to the non-payment of rent. Another important point to that is AB 1482, which is a law that went into effect at the first of the year related to just cause evictions. This specific executive order does not seem to apply to AB 1482 cases such as a landlord is going to do an extensive remodel or a landlord's family member is going to move in. It does look like you're still able to give the notice to terminate tenancy in those cases, which would be a 60-day notice if the tenant has had occupancy for a year or more. And you'd still also owe the relocation expenses. So that's an important point. We believe that residents still will have to move if given those notices, although this is a time for compassion. So we don't encourage a bunch of those notices to go out, that's for sure. So another important point to make is that right now the OSI courts are closed. So any unlawful detainer trials that were going on are paused, and there aren't going to be any new unlawful detainer trials. So that's kind of gumming up the works right there. So even if a local municipality hasn't adopted this, again, we'd say be compassionate. Another thing to remember, document everything. Right now, with everything that's going on, it's going to be hard to remember, oh, did I give them a break on rent? Did they pay a full month's rent? Did we maybe credit some of the security deposit? And we're going to do another video on some creative ways to help cover that rent. But document everything. This is not the time to try to remember. Make sure you get it in writing. Make sure there's a mutual agreement between the resident and the landlord on exactly what was done to cover rent, so that in 6 months or so, we'll be able to straighten this all out and make sure the landlord gets the rent they deserve and the tenant is able to pay exactly what they deserve to pay. So again, Santa Ana has adopted this. Costa Mesa is doing a special meeting tonight to discuss whether they're going to adopt it. Because this runs until May 31st, and a lot of municipalities are actually shut down right now, we do expect to see other municipalities actually adopt this in the coming weeks, in the coming months. But again, compassion, that's the name of the game here. We're going to get through this. Again, Wire Associates is here to help. We're open for business, even though we are considered non-essential. It does hurt a little bit, not going to lie, but we are still open for business. One other thing to remember, we can't give legal or tax advice. So make sure you're running this all by your attorney, and your attorney can't use the excuse they're in trial right now. So they should be able to pick up the phone and give you that advice. So please send us your questions that you may have about anything related, whether you're a landlord, tenant, or just living in a house. Let us know. We're here to answer questions. We've got a lot more great video content coming, and looking forward to helping you guys get through this and move on to a great rest of the 2020. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.